Guess we gotta start sometime. Huh. Hey guys, my name is Brett. I go by B though. I've decided to give this YouTube thing a shot. I have never done YouTube before. My fiance just kept suggesting it. He's like, you love all those little fitness gurus, those little fitness chicks, and you watch them and you love them. And he's like, I think you should really give it a shot. I think you, if nothing else, if you know one person, I think you would be really happy making these videos and just expressing your love and knowledge of fitness, nutrition, your experience. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's give it a shot. First of all, I am not politically correct at all. I'm not very good at like censoring how I think about things or say things or do things, and that's just kind of how I've always operated. So it's probably not gonna change now at the ripe age of 25. Anyway, my first video is to talk to you guys about my fitness journey. Like a brief overview. So I live in Indiana, in the area of Kosciuszko County, and I've been in here, or I've lived there my entire life. I went to high school here, and I really started sport, I would say, probably, like elementary school aged, I guess. So I did basketball and soccer all the way through senior year of high school. Well, I did soccer all the way through senior year of high school, and I did basketball up until junior year, and then I decided to step away from it for various reasons. I was mediocre at best in both sports. Like, I would say I excelled in actually the conditioning aspect of the sport rather than the sport itself. My cat just entered the room. Lil bitch. She has a real name, but that's what I call her because she's a Sour Patch Kid. You want to meet everyone? You want to say hi? Apparently not. So I did like the typical steps that you would take to go through the different levels of high school level sport. Once I was done with senior year of soccer, I was like, no more, I'm done. Meet little bitch. I love her. She hates being held. Hates it. But she's a good girl. My little Sour Patch Kid. I'm easily distracted. I'm like squirrel. Yeah. At the end of it all, when senior year of soccer was over, I was like, oh, finally, I never have to do another track conditioning session. I never have to run 3 miles again. I never have to do this. I never have to do that. At that point in time, my like body structure was, I would call it skinny fat now. That's what I would refer to it as within my own head or my own language, or if I was talking to like a friend, I would refer to myself as skinny fat back then. So didn't have a lot of muscle tone at all, but I was relatively thin. I'm about 5'9", and I weighed at that point in time roughly like 145 at the end of senior year of soccer. And in my brain, we're young, right? We're like, 17, 18 years old, and you're like, yeah, I got this banging metabolism. I can eat that fucking cupcake. I can eat 7. I can eat 12 tacos on top of that. Like, it didn't take long to have a mentality like that to actually see that that wasn't true. Fast forward a little bit into college, I'm at Ball State. I surpassed the freshman 15 and I hit the freshman 45. Ate like shit, just complete and utter shit. And I look back at how I was eating all the time and I was like, oh, what? I have a day, like that now where I hate this term, binge eating. Like if I have like a day where I'm just like, screw it, I'm not tracking anything. I'm just gonna relax and have fun. Those days, I feel like shit the next day and I'm like, I was doing this all the time. I was doing that all the time. And I can't even fathom it now. I went on and packed on 40 pounds in about a year. And that's a lot. That's a lot of weight gain in a short amount of time. And I did not do anything in terms of like exercise. I didn't do shit. And I did not do well my freshman year. I struggled on so many different levels. And at the end of it all, what ended up happening was, 40-pound weight gain. And my boyfriend of about 4 years finally decided to break up with me after he turned 21. Go figure. And I was still, 18, 19 years old. And he dumped me. And then I went on this rampage of, I have to get hot. So I was like, I gained 40 pounds. I'm going to lose all this weight. I'm going to show him. He's going to rue the day. And also I wanted to get into police work. So like I knew I was going to have to like really get back into shape if I wanted to pass all these physicals and get onto a police department, right? And so I started slowly but surely working my way back into fitness. And when I mean slowly, like really fucking slow, like really slow. It was like every other day for a little while. It was run a mile, 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, 25 air squats. That was my workout every other day. And when I tell you, when I first started to do all that again, I could not run 400 meters without stopping. Legitimately, one lap around the track, I could not do it. It was like the end of the world. It took me about 12 plus minutes. I want to say almost upwards of 15 minutes, like somewhere between 12 to 15 minutes to do a mile. A mile. That was painful. And that's what it was for a while. It was every other day I did that. And that's not a lot at all. And to some people, for me at that point in time, that was a lot. It felt like a lot. I eventually started working at the parks department as my summer job between freshman and sophomore year of college. That is actually where I ended up meeting my now fiance. And he's wonderful, and he actually introduced me to CrossFit. I told him I had kind of started running again. I don't know how in depth I went into about why I had started running again. I know I brought up policing and how I needed to be able to pass certain standards and stuff like that. And he showed me this video called Beauty and Strength. This video started it all. This video created a monster. Oh, I first saw this video, and the women in it, their names, I'm going to butcher one of them. I always butcher the one girl's name. There's Jackie Perez, Rita Benavides, Andrea Ager, and Aaron Santiolo, something like that. Something close to that. They looked so ripped and so defined, and they were talking about all this cool shit they could do with their bodies. There's something about the video that really hit home with me, and I was just drawn to it. From that point forward, Quentin and I start dating. I start, sophomore year of college, and now I've kind of upped my game in the gym a little bit more. It was more of a traditional meathead routine, if you will. Do my mile to a mile to 2 miles on the treadmill because, for police stuff, you had to do a 1.5 mile run in X amount of time. So I was I need to get my cardio up. I should be able to run 2 miles like I used to in soccer and not feel like I'm just gonna die. So I would run my stuff, and then I would get off the treadmill and I would either do upper body or lower body. And that was it. I didn't really separate it out much farther than that. There was upper body day, lower body day, and then you capped off whatever day it was with some sort of ab training session. And that's what I did. At that point, I would say I started noticing little tiny things about my body changing here and there, but really not so much. I had used that video every day to have inspiration to go to the gym because I did not want to go. I fucking hated it, okay? Hated it. I kept watching this video, using it as inspiration. I'm like, these girls, they're beautiful, they're strong, I want to be that, I want to do that. And they were doing this wild stuff with their bodies, and I was like, okay, let's try CrossFit. And I remember the first workout I did, I went on Pinterest and I put in CrossFit workout, and a bunch of stuff popped up, and I just picked one. And it was some sort of circuit that you did for 3 rounds for time, was supposed to be the premise of it. And it was 10 different body weight movements, and you would do 10 repetitions of each. You would rest 1 minute after each round, and you would do your next circuit. I remember I did the first round. I thought I was dead. I thought I had died. Struggled through rounds 2 and 3, and by the time I was done, I was so out of breath, and everything hurt so bad, and I couldn't move, and I was like, ugh. I'm never doing that again. Never. I'll never do that again. So a couple weeks go by. I haven't done any other CrossFit since then, and I went back into my normal routine that I had been doing that I fucking hated. And slowly but surely, the idea of doing CrossFit again had resurfaced. Especially since I didn't feel like I was like progressing that much. Like, not really. I wasn't pushing myself the way I needed to in order to succeed the way I wanted to, whether that was an aesthetic, whether that was police fitness requirements, whatever the case was. I wasn't pushing myself hard enough to get the results that I was desiring. So I totally decided to join a CrossFit club. You'll get used to that too. Thank the good Lord, they had an intro class, and it was like $100 for, it was either 4 weeks or 8 weeks. So the whole program between CrossFit 1 CrossFit 1 and CrossFit 2 was either 8 weeks or 16 weeks, one of the two, I can't remember. I started my little journey at CrossFit with BSU. And so they had instructors from the local box, which was Muncie CrossFit's The Arsenal. The Arsenal sent like various coaches down there to coach us 3 times a week. So you went Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then it was awful. I remember the first workout, I think, was something like, I think it was like a 10-minute AMRAP. AMRAP is as many rounds or reps as possible in X amount of time. So it was a 10-minute AMRAP of like, I want to say it was like 25 air squats and then like some sort of sprint. It was either like a half court back, full court back, because we were in the annex gym. So I think it was something like that. So it was just sprints and squats, and I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Like maybe 3 minutes in, I was like, oh, I can't do this. And as soon as I went home that night and like thought about that workout, the squats and the running, I was hooked. And then, you know, I went through the whole CrossFit 1 and CrossFit 2. Again, I can go into a little more detail at a later date because this video is already going to be like 1,000 years long. So I went through CrossFit 1 and 2. Once you were done with CrossFit 1 and 2, you could decide to repeat CrossFit 1 and 2 at Ball State in their annex gym, or you could move forward and get a membership at the Arsenal. And I was like, I don't want to repeat the same stuff. Like, I don't want to feel stagnant. Like, I feel like we've made so much progress. And so Kylie and I decided to continue our membership as full-fledged affiliate members at the Arsenal. And so that's how that kind of started. And I had lost a little bit of weight, I would say, probably by just changing my exercise to CrossFit, like 3 days a week. I would say I dropped 5 to 10 pounds. I didn't change my eating or anything like that, but the biggest difference I was noticing was in my clothes. Like, even though my weight hadn't gone down that much, my pants, I dropped at least 1 pant size during CrossFit 1 and 2, and I started noticing certain things were just toning up very slightly, but I was excited because it was way more progress than I had seen previously. And so the Arsenal had, you know, unlimited gym access. I was in there 5 days a week, multiple times a day, even sometimes. Like, I was in love. And it didn't take very long to decide that I wanted to compete in this, and I wanted to like make it a sport. Like, I wasn't just going to be my form of exercise. Like, I really, really wanted to do well. And I did my first open that year. I did a lot of it scaled because I wasn't very skilled at anything at that point in time. I didn't have a whole lot of strength. It's February 2015, so I've only been doing it for a few months. I feel like I'm working my ass off, right? And I'm not seeing like a ton of results in terms of body change. Like, little things were happening, and I knew the training was the right stimulus. One day I came into the gym and they told us that they were doing a body fat calculation test. They did it with like little skin pinchers. That's not right. Calipers, something like that. Calipers. And they would pinch various parts of your skin. So it would be your belly, like the tricep area, the side of your legs, and there might have been 1 or 2 other spots, like right around like where your bra line would be, like your lat muscles. And I remember thinking, I work out like a lot, and I mean, I was overweight, but I wasn't like super overweight when I started this thing. So in my brain, I'm thinking I'm gonna be somewhere close to like 22% body fat, somewhere around there. Somewhere that's pretty average. 28% body fat. Was very heartbroken at 28%, especially for as hard as I had been working and for what I wanted to do at that point, which was compete. That spurred me on into like a whole different category of fitness journey, because now we're adding in nutrition, right? So I continue to train CrossFit 5 to 6 days a week, possibly twice a day. It was probably like 2 days, 3 days a week, somewhere around there. And I changed my nutrition. First, we just started with quality of food. Like I still ate however much I wanted, whenever I wanted, but I changed the quality. So like I cut out lots of processed shit. I ate way more like rice, chicken, sweet potatoes. So it was very paleo-esque with still some like grains and stuff involved. And I would say I went down from about 180 at that point, and I dropped down to about 177. And you would think that's not a big jump, but I noticed a huge difference in my body shape at that point. After a certain amount of time had passed, I hit another plateau, and I decided I was like studying for my level 1 at one point because, you know, I exited college, and I became a full-blown affiliate member at my gym when I was at home, which is CrossFit Haymaker, which is still where I'm at now. And I love them. They're fantastic. But I wanted to coach a little bit here and there, and I was really interested in that. So I had saved money for forever during college to save up to get my level 1. And do you see this? Do you see the SAS Master? Okay, back to the story. I had saved up a lot of money, level 1, and I had been reading the packet that they tell you, like the booklet to read beforehand, and I started learning about the Zone diet and how that was the preferred diet that would go with our training regimen. And I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. So Quentin and I kind of started to play around with that, and I would say I dropped from like I went from like 177 to 171. Fast forward a little more again, and I got hired at a police department. My fitness assessment, I thought I did really well at, especially considering where I had started out at. I was proud of my performance. That was the fastest I had ever ran a mile and a half. My mile and a half time is much better now, but like at that point in time, it was 12:38, and that's like the fastest I had ran it since like soccer. So I was really excited about that. So we go to the police academy. I'm at the police academy. The food is shit at the police academy. Complete and utter sludge, in my opinion. Literally the most fatty, carb-dense foods ever. And I tried my best to eat as zone as I could, but like, you're really limited. Like, because your breakfast was there, your lunch was there. You could kind of get some snacks in your room that were yours. You could bring in, like, store in your little locker thing. But like, you really only had control over dinner time, and you only had an hour to get your shit and get back in there before you get in trouble. So I stayed right about 171 the entire police academy. I leaned out a little bit though. I gained a little muscle. I was still doing my CrossFit style workouts. I was getting in a decent amount of two-a-days because we would have, you know, training together in the mornings, like a couple days a week. We would do the physical fitness requirements that ILEA has for us. And then in the evenings, I would do my own programming and try my best to continue my fitness in a much more strict CrossFit style weightlifting manner. So I was still getting a lot of exercise, but my nutrition was like, wah, wah, wah. I went to my best friend's bachelorette party in the midst of all of that, and I got to meet her cousin for the first time, and her cousin she had 3 kids at that point in time, and she looked fantastic. Super lean, muscular, just ripped. And I was just like, what do you do? Like, you look great. Like, I didn't know how to say it in a way that wasn't like totally almost like fangirling. But I was like, I was a little drunk at that point because it was bachelorette party. I was like, you look hot. I don't understand. Like, I don't mean this to sound bad, but like, I don't understand. You've had 3 children. You would never know. You look fantastic. And she was just like, I track my macros. with a program called Performance Macros, and my coach is named Anne, and she's great. So I'll give you her information. As soon as I was no longer drunk and I had access to a computer, I emailed Anne, started telling her my situation. She said, I will definitely work with you. I'm super excited to work with you, but we're gonna wait until you're done with the academy because that's way too much inconsistency. You just do you until the academy is over, and once it's over, have the weekend to celebrate, and then hit me up on like Sunday or Monday and we'll just get started. And that's what I did. And I've been doing that ever since. And it's been wild. It's been the best thing that's happened for me, both as like a performance driven athlete, which is what I would classify myself as. I would be lying to you if I said I didn't like aesthetics that CrossFit brings, but it's done a lot for my aesthetics. It's so much for my performance and my energy levels, and I love it. So I do what you would call macro tracking, and I've been working with Performance Macros now for about, well, it would have been like 2017. So like summer of 2017 till now, which is almost 2 years later. And I've seen so many changes. I continued doing my CrossFit regimen that I had fallen in love with. I've done some competitions amidst that, and I can go into detail about those at a later date. I dropped down, like I said, I was about 171 when I graduated the academy, quickly dropped down to about 168, got a little more strict and a little more understanding of how to track macros. And I dropped down to about 150. 152 I think is the lowest I ever hit. 152 to 155, I sat in that range for a while. I started to notice my energy levels dropping off during my Metcons and strength training, and like I couldn't cycle the barbell very well anymore. And I had been cutting for a long time at that point, so we decided, it's time to go back up to maintenance. I looked great for me. That was the leanest I've ever been. It's kind of like my fitness thing in a nutshell. Right now I'm sitting closer to like 165, and I would say like I'm definitely not the leanest I was. My body fat has gone up a little bit. I guess I didn't tell you how low my body fat did get down. I got down to, according to the in-body scan, I was close to 10% when I was at the 152 pound marker. I don't quite think I was that low. I know a lot of people are like, no, that thing's the most accurate. I've seen athletes, like women athletes, that have been 10%, and I don't think I was quite there. I would say I was probably like 13, maybe like 13%, 12, 13%, somewhere, 12 to 14. We'll say that 12 to 14% body fat. And now I'm sitting probably closer to like 18 to 20, somewhere in there. I really think next time, like next winter, like after I get married, because I'm getting married this September, honeymooning, and the second open is happening, there's a whole nother topic mixed in here about how I feel about the new CrossFit layout, I suppose. But the second open will be right around when I get back from my honeymoon, which is fantastic because I'm sure I won't be eating the best while I'm traveling, especially in different, we're going to Switzerland and Italy. So like I want to experience good food, and like if they have something that I'm never going to have again, I'm definitely going to not say no to it. So but I'm excited to like do a bulk appropriately next time, to actually do a bulk instead of just not giving a shit. Yeah, that's my fitness thing in a nutshell. I've, like I said, 185 when I started, heavily got into CrossFit, and now I'm super into nutrition. I'm working on getting my nutrition cert so I can actually work with Performance Macros and take my own clients, because I love how much it's helped me and I want to help other people that way. So fell in love with CrossFit and nutrition, and now, I lost up to, that's like almost like a 30-pound weight loss situation, and I gained a little bit back, and now we're just kind of in a maintenance phase, kind of slowly working our way towards another cut, and I'm really excited. I'm excited to be here. So yeah, I hope this video gave you a little background on me. I'm sorry it was like 80 fucking years long, because it definitely was. I'll have a different, like maybe later on we can do more of like a Q&A style situation where you can get to know about me a little more as a person, not necessarily just my like fitness background. But since this is going to be like a health and fitness related channel, I really did want the main focus of my intro video to be just that, the introduction to my fitness journey. And my goodness, we still got a long way to go. Well, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Like I said, my name is B. I'm super excited to be here, and hopefully y'all like me enough to come back and watch another video someday. So, all right. Peace out.